Welcome to Practical Talk Time. I'm your host, Usha Kumar. In part one of our kinesiology program, we discussed the definition of kinesiology and how exactly our current guest got into the field of kinesiology. Our guest is Bruce Zboray and Matt Kay. So please join me in welcoming Bruce and Matt. Welcome to the show. Last time in the part one, we talked a little bit about kinesiology and how you got into it. But just for the sake of people that just join in this program, can you please give a little background about yourself and how you got into this field?
I'm a software developer for about 40 years, and very interested in doing things with programming and logic and things like that. And it turned out that maybe in about 20 years into my career, I had an incident with my health, and I had found someone because just serendipitously he had happened to be in a health food store helping other people, and he had shown me what he had learned. And so that's how I learned about kinesiology, is because I found I happened to be in a certain spot at the right time, that there was such a person there, and so that's how we met. And so once he showed me how the testing worked, I was very amazed at what I was seeing and the kinds of information that can be read out of a person's body and about their life just by using a simple muscle test.
I see. And Matt, how about you?
I met Bruce about 10 years ago, and I took one of his continuing education classes. It was about kinesiology, and Dr. David Hawkins, who's an author, who I've read many of his books, and I just was very interested in the subject matter and ended up hitting it off with Bruce, and we've been friends ever since.
What book was that?
The first book that Hawkins wrote was called Power versus Force, and the idea is that it's about energy, and everything can be tested energetically, and it's either a powerful thing or force, which is a negative thing.
Is he a doctor by PhD education?
Psychology, I believe.
Psychology,
yes.
I see. What did he do? I mean, was he, where did he first work?
He had a big psychotherapy practice in New York City.
I see.
And had some sort of spiritual awakening where he abandoned his practice, moved to Sedona, Arizona, and lived a spiritual life and started writing. And he authored about 7 books, I believe, all about spirit, and kinesiology was one of his first books.
I see. Can one of you kind of give some kind of a definition for kinesiology? Like, what exactly is it? I mean, I don't need you to give like a sentence definition, but just explain it.
The kinesiology is a way of testing energy. It doesn't correct the energy. There's a whole range of other ways to correct energy. Its main purpose is how to determine the measurement of energy, to see if something weakens or strengthens or leaves a person neutral.
I see.
Anything, whether it's a place or whether it's a thing or whether it's a food, a book, a sentence in a book, anything.
So from what you're saying, we shouldn't be watching some of the shows and TV movies that we are watching, right?
That's correct.
Certain violent and bad ones.
That's right.
They
David
cause
Hawkins,
a negative energy in us, or they weaken us.
That's right. You can test, and in his writings, when David Hawkins wrote his things, he made a very strong point of saying that the average television show that's broadcast will make a person weak something like I think he said 30 times for a half-hour show. So virtually every second there was a weakening impulse being sent out to weaken the immune system, the entire acupressure system of the person. And so we can test that. So in other words, if I pick a show Okay.
Only it's not our show.
No, it's not our show.
This is going to
All right.
increase the positive energy.
There used to be a show called Lassie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lassie on 1 to 10 is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Even that is not a 10.
I see.
Even that is a 3. Father knows best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Even that's not a 10. It's an 8.
See.
If we pick something, well, I don't know what kind of show we want to talk about today.
Like we used to have, we used to watch.
Music is a very good thing to calibrate, and I know, I already know the answer, but if you calibrate rap music.
Yeah, if we calibrate rap music on 1 to 10, it's not even 0. If I say what's its negative effect on 1 to 10? Like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, yes, 6 I go weak. So that says it's really a negative 5. It will actually pull you down greatly.
Oh my God, I'm going to get emails from rap music fans now.
And you can do, and the interesting thing about the kinesiology, you could say, well, if I remove the words from it, because there's unusual properties to the test.
I see.
If I remove the words from it,
okay,
then the rap music is at least a 0. It's not even 0. It's a -1, 2. It's like a -2. So in other words, even with the words removed, there's something about the energy that was put into the musical instrument, something, or the intention, something which we can interrogate with the kinesiology. Something is there that is affecting people, and so hearing it is really weakening, literally weakening a person to hear that kind of music.
I have heard of some people that just drain your energy, and there are some people that kind of energize you when they're around. So in your kinesiology, what have you found in that regard?
That's true. You can measure the energy of a person, and Hawkins has a scale of 0 to 1,000, where 1,000 is divinity on earth, and 1 is just existing. And he found that at 200 is the break-off point, and all people, regardless of their culture, respect this gradation. When they're tested, if you said, well, where is truth and integrity on 1 to 1,000? All people, when you measure them, will measure at 200 is where that place is, independent of their culture, of whether their sex, or whether their age, or anything. So it's like a built-in measurement inside people. So what you can do is you could measure what the energy of the person is. First of all, you could just do it very coarsely by you have to ask permission about the person, because unless the person is a celebrity or someone in the public area, you really need permission to interrogate their energy field. I mean, you can sense it. You can put it toward the other way around. Does it benefit me to be near so and so on 1 to 10? You could do it like that, but but the permission part has to be respected. And the permission's coming from.
Who do you have to get permission from?
It's
from yourself, or
it's from
the other person that you're thinking about?
It's from basically God or the presence, who's ever holding this enormous information base.
I see.
Consciousness.
Consciousness, right? Mass consciousness, consciousness in general. Overall consciousness is holding this information.
So you're not asking yourself, but you're just asking outside.
And you wouldn't want to go around testing people for no reason. You might want to test a mentor if you're experiencing or wanting to test out different kinds of religions, what would be right for you. You could use it for that.
I see.
Random people, you don't really need to test.
And Bruce, you were saying that you can use kinesiology even to figure out which car dealer you should use or which car you should buy. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes. It turns out that because of it turns out that everything has an energy component to it. And so even large things like organizations and dealerships and things have an energy to it. So if I said the car dealer that benefits me most for buying a car for our family, something like that. And I had a phone book, let's say. Let's say I had a phone book of...
And here we are assuming you have a choice of dealerships and where you can buy your car.
That's right. Let's say you're trying to decide between 3 places. So let's say you've decided already on the kind of car, but you could have used the testing to determine that also. So let's say you decided on what kind of car, and so for example, I did this when we bought a Honda 2 years ago, a new Honda, and there were 2 or 3 places that were giving quotes that were just as good, and so I used it myself. I said, does it benefit to use this place, that place, or that place? And I get a no, and a yes. I'd be a weak and a strong. So so that's one way to decide on. The interesting thing is it takes into account many things, including the integrity of the dealership, the price, whether the kind of car you want is on the lot right now. It just takes like all of these things.
But then isn't that something you already know since you did all the groundwork, legwork? You figured out, okay, what models do these people carry? Check in each place, and then how much does this guy want, and how much do they want, how much do they want? And then you're looking for features and looking for availability, how quickly you can get it. And then you also see whether you get along with that personality of the person who's selling, the salesperson. But isn't that all just the general way we do make our decisions? But so rather than do it that way, why do we have to go with this method? So what is the advantage in using this?
It's the same thing. You have a feeling after visiting those dealerships. That's an energy. You either have a good feeling when you walk away from a dealership or a bad feeling, and it's really the same thing.
So it's really, again, a part of your intuition or your gut feeling?
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Right. For a lot of people are not in touch with their feelings. That's one of the problems. A lot of the times it's difficult. For me, for example, it's difficult to choose clothing or something like that. And other people say, definitely it's this or definitely it's that. And so one of the things that it does is it helps you sort of realign with your intuition. And so in a way it's kind of like the kinesiology is kind of like a stepping stone to get the intuition more in tune with what your consciousness is holding, your awareness is holding. Sometimes we don't have, for example, when I bought the car, there was some kind of application that I could use to help query different dealerships for their price all at once. In other words, I like this car, you give me quotes back. So there the computer was helping. Some of the time the computer is not there. Some of the time, and we're inundated with decisions left and right all the time. For example, if I want to hire a repairman, a plumber or something like that, how do I go about something like that? You sometimes.
So how do I know that? Okay, we have all these things. And now you're at a point where you can't decide between this or the other. But doing this is almost like saying eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or whatever.
Well, it's different because
it's not like that.
No, because what it's doing is it's responding to the question that I've just posed in the question or the statement. It's always a statement, which is true or false. So it's responding to the statement. It says the lawnmower service that benefits me most at this time is. And then I say, is it this person's? And I'll say, say no. And I say, is it that person? And I say no. What if I'm going to a therapist? And I don't know, and nobody in my family, for example, goes to an acupuncturist. How do I know, which one benefits me? So I would say, this one, no. I would look at them in the phone book or online if I had a list of them, and I would look one by one, and I say, which one of these benefits me? And this method takes into account all kinds of variables that I'm not even consciously aware of.
So you're testing yourself at that point for whether it's strengthening you or weakening you.
That's right. That's
So
right.
that's
I'm really
the mode
testing,
you're using.
right, so I'm testing the statement, this acupuncturist benefits me. That would be the statement I would be testing.
I see.
Or I could be testing something like, this acupuncturist benefits me for going there once.
How long have you been doing this? I mean, learning and
15,
teaching?
20 years, long time.
Oh, I see.
I use this all the time. I use it for everything, all the way from figuring out if French toast is completely cooked to seeing if I still have karma. I mean, the complete gamut, everything, all kinds of things. And
you've written books?
I've written several books.
Have you just published articles and you've written books? Could you mention some of those?
First of all, the books that we published is self-published them. One of the books we wrote is with Matt Kay.
Okay, co-wrote this book.
Matt Kay and I wrote this book, A Guide to Waking Moments, A Guide to Everyday Spiritual Experiences.
Okay. And the other one?
And the other one is The Gracing of Earth, Awakening Your Power. This one I wrote myself.
So we can talk a little bit more in depth about your books and what they contain and how you wrote those books. And we'll do that in the next part of our program. So as for this program today, would you like to demonstrate how you do some of these things?
Sure.
A little bit of the kinesiology so we can understand.
So the kinesiology, as I said, is always testing. It doesn't correct anything. You use other methods, Reiki, acupuncture systems, massaging points, things like that. You use other methods to correct.
Okay, here you just find out what's going on.
That's right.
And then you seek help through other doctors or other methods.
Or there's a set of methods that we can talk about. It covers many cases just right off. So let's just take, here is a refined sugar. So what I'm going to do is just ask you to hold that next to you, just with one hand. Use your other hand, please, so that I can test your, put that next to you, just hold it next to you. Yeah, in the center, that's right. Now put out your arm. And so don't cross your legs. Okay. And so now I'm just going to see if you're strong or weak. So I can push you down relatively easily. So you're relatively.
Because I'm not resisting too. I'm just stretching.
Okay. Well, then take something like this. This is a normal sugar that hasn't been refined.
Okay.
Hasn't been refined at all. Put it closer to the center of your chest. That's it. Okay. Now try and resist me. Okay, now you're stronger. And now let's do this. Take that away. Now think of something like a vacation for 10 years, fully paid, with even perks above that. Think of that. Think of that thought.
Oh, that'll be nice.
and resist me. You're quite strong, okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you think of something like okay, why don't you think of work? Why don't you think of something like a child crying. Yeah. See, you're weak.
Yeah.
You're weak. And if I say 10 children laughing and giggling, I know you're strong. I can feel it. I can feel you're 10 times stronger.
Yes.
So it's the amount of pressure is very minimal. It's subtle energy. It's called subtle energy. That's what it's called in a lot of the writing. However, that subtle energy builds up and is with us 100% of the time. So, a little something, all the time builds up. So it's an important thing. Now, let's take even the sugar. If we measured the lunch that you had today, okay, on one, just overall, was it strong to your body or not? The lunch you had today, you see, it's weak, and that's almost everybody in America and probably in the world. It's weak, because even though you try to eat well and everything, you have there's an energy that gets built up with how the food was created, how it was processed, were the animals treated well, was the earth respected, a whole bunch of things that all go into the food, was pesticides used, all kinds of enormous multivariable problem is all there. if I say simply, and especially if the food is microwaved, we can talk quite a bit, Matt and I, about Dr. Emoto's experiments, which show that crystals will not form, ice crystals will not form with microwave food. Microwave food is not good for people unless you can harmonize it, and that's not kinesiology, it's how you fix things. There's about 3 or 4 simple ways to fix things, and this is wonderful. So if we suddenly said, with any meal, please bless this meal, and if you're not okay with saying bless, then you can say, please harmonize this meal. If you simply said that, just think about the meal you ate for lunch now, and even now, think about saying, please bless this meal, all right? And now, so the meal you had for lunch, yeah, see, I don't know if you could tell, but I can tell you're a lot stronger.
Yes.
Okay, so what it did was, it brought a thought form, and we can talk about those too. There's a whole topic about thought forms.
Yeah, even I've read about all those experiments on water, and when you say nice things to water, and then it seems to be good, and when you say bad things to it, then it causes something
That's exactly
bad in
correct.
your body when you drink it. And I think the same principle kind of applies to holy water in so many religions.
Absolutely, and these are simple things that people can do at home to harmonize or make their food
Say good
more
things
beneficial.
to the water before you drink it.
Oh, yes, right.
Or say good things to the food before you eat it.
Even if you're thinking as you're drinking the water, please bless this water, or thank you for this water, it's going to be beneficial to your body.
And so that's one of this. You mentioned that earlier between the break that when we say please bless the food. Now notice I didn't invoke any particular religion.
Yeah, some
I
people
didn't even
think
do
it's
anything.
got, it's something religious, so they don't want to follow it. And some people think it's very old-fashioned, and so they don't want to follow it. I mean, I'm talking about the younger generation. But then there seems to be, I don't know what this is, science or what is this? But that is still showing that following that is not blind belief, but it can really help you and your body.
Yes, I believe that it from a scientific point of view, I believe it actually subatomically it changes the food and the water. If nothing else, it brings a corresponding thought form to it, which is an energy.
Yeah, I think there are these
neutralizes it.
bonds between these molecules in our food and water and everything, and they kind of align more in order than align haphazardly.
Yes, I believe that's true.
With the good energy, yeah, okay.
I mean, I've done it. I've done tests, and I've seen other people who've written about this, where if you hold the water and you thank the water for coming into your cells and treating it consciously as if it's alive, it, to me anyhow, will taste sweeter when I sip it. It's a strange sweetness. It's not overpowering. It's subtle, but it's there. And so so what my conclusion is that we have the ability to actually, with a few simple things that we do, to fundamentally make our life much, much healthier, like blessing the food, doing the same with any kinds of supplements or medicines. I do this for myself and for everyone in our family. I take each bottle of medicine and I hold it and I say, please let the healing come into this person, to the person who uses this, and protect them from any negative side effects. I hold that thought for 3 seconds. And when I test the energy before and the energy after, before it's usually will weaken the person. In other words, it'll help the person, but it'll also do something else. It'll have a side effect, okay? When I do it after, it's strong, and it'll stay strong with my testing because I'm like analytical, so I kind of try to figure things out. It will stay strong for 3 months. So I go around our house, and I actually do this every 3 months, and we're doing well with the medicines. And so
you were going to demonstrate something else. You said you had to stand up. What was that?
There is a number of ways to do the testing. One way is with the two people, the one we just did. Another way is to put the ring finger and the thumb together loosely and try to break the loop. If I say 2 and 2 are 4, which is true, it's hard to break the loop. Okay. If I say that plant over there is orange, I can break the loop because it's not true. That plant is green. So that's the second way. The third way, I've taught this in continuing education for over like 7 years, and it turned out that a lot of people can do it that way, but some people could not do it that way. And the third way is where you stand up and you bend your knees slightly, and if I say yes, 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 I feel like going forward. And if I say no, 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 I feel like going backward. And if I say 2 and 2 are 4, I feel like going forward. And if I say Brussels sprouts are my favorite food, I really want to go backward.
Okay, because it's not true. But what if some person has several mistaken ideas and beliefs, and they think it's true? So is the body going to think that that is not the right thing, or that's the right thing?
The body is going to keep you safe. It's always going to keep you safe.
The body never lies. I
see. So even if you have a misconception about something, the body is going to,
regardless of that,
tell you the right thing. It's interesting, but I don't know. I've never tested it. So I mean, other than what you did right now, we're out of time. Can you believe that?
No.
The half hour run, goes by very quickly. Thank you very much, Bruce, and
Welcome,
thank you.
Usha.
Thank you very much,
Matt. So again, I would like you to be there for our part 3, where we can discuss your books, right?
Sure.
And I'd really like to find out about how you came to write the books. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, tune in for our part 3 of the series to listen to their discussion on their books that they've written, and that's going to be even more interesting. I hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time, goodbye.
Lights are down.